Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. My name's Eric, and I will be talking about why my learners keep their phones on in the classroom. And I've got just 20 minutes to convince you that I'm not an absolute nutter for doing this. So let's put this into context to start with. I don't really like drawing attention to myself, but I guess I should do at some point. My name is Eric Renno. This is me. I'm a lecturer at Peterborough Regional College. It's up there in Peterborough, but what's really good about Peterborough Regional College is it has a separate building. And this building is called the Media and Journalism Centre. So we're actually on 3 floors. We have a media floor, we have a journalism floor, and we have a photography floor, but not worthy of being in the name for some reason. But I spend most of my time on the photography floor, but luckily my skill set does take me through the Media and Journalism Centre. Okay. Apart from that, I do lots of things online, including a website called TipSquirrel.com, which I founded about 6-7 years ago, and it's full of tutorials, free to view, and it's a collaborative website, which is really cool. And then I also produce some content for other websites, including Photolia, the Adobe Creative Cloud, where I've just started writing stuff about Adobe Stock, Photo Focus, which is an online magazine, and then the magazine itself, Digital Photographer. Okay. I very carefully wrote myself all the presenter notes. I've never done presenter notes before, and now I can't see them anywhere. So this is going to be fun. All right, so just in the spirit of transparency, I also do some stuff for 3, the telephone people. They give me phones to use, and I do take them into the school, into the college, and I allow my learners to play with them and try them out. But they don't have any real influence on what I do. Okay, so why do learners, young people, want to use their phones all the time? It's almost become a bit of an obsession. And I say learners and I say young people, but I include myself in that, not as a young person. I think we all know that isn't true. But they just seem to always want to be on their phone. Now, one of the reasons for this, and there's a lot of reasons, and I've got 20 minutes to talk to you about this. One of the reasons is that there is something that is commonly called the fear of missing out. This is learners, young people that are worried that things are going on that they don't know about, whether it be going to go and get a cup of coffee, the next party, whatever it may be. They have this fear of missing out. It's shortened to FOMO, and it has its own hashtag, and it's used throughout the internet. And this interests me, this fear of missing out. This really interests me because it's a fear of missing out. This is the word they've come up with. It's a fear of missing out. They're not worried about missing out. They're not concerned about missing out. Wait for it. You know what? I've put things in here just to amuse me, if I'm honest. If you're under 40, that made no sense to you whatsoever. That did it. That was Perry Como, by the way. So they've got a fear of missing out. And I think this is really interesting. When I was younger, I didn't have many fears. I had some worries. One of my main concerns when I was younger was that my fellow pupils would judge me by my wallpaper, because we all covered our textbooks in our wallpaper. And I thought they were going to judge me on this. And I had a funny feeling they would do, because I was judging them on their wallpaper. But then as I grew up, I got more concerns. I got more worries. Yeah, I've always been a bit of a nerd, I suppose. But what I'd do if I had a problem was I'd go home and I would talk to my parents, particularly my mother, and she would talk me through it. She would tell me that there was another side to the story. She would help me to develop. She would help me to find a balanced view. What happens now is that if you have a problem, you go home, and I talk generally, of course, you'll go home, you'll avoid your parents, you'll go up to your bedroom, you get your laptop out or your mobile tablet, and you'll go online. And you'll air it publicly. And friends, being friends of course, they will back you up. And somebody will like it, And they'll tell you they were in the wrong. You're in the right. You're my friend. Of course you're in the right. And very soon, you're being told by a lot of people that you are right. There's no bounce back. You have no ability to... Oh, that's a bit too strong. You are not given the ability to bounce back. Part of this growing up. Then, of course, bless your heart, thank you very much. Somebody just put the speaker notes on there. Thank you. What we have then is that somebody will always come along and ruin anything that you put on Facebook if you're having a bit of a moan. I think we all know who we're talking about. Oh, my least favourite phrase on the internet. Anybody with me? Nobody. Nobody doesn't like that. Okay. For me, there's only one person that can spell honey like that, and he doesn't have a Facebook account. So why are you doing it? But we're told, it's okay, talk to me, I will back you up, and we're not being given this way of social growth. So what we're encouraged to do as tutors and teachers is to almost take this away. And perhaps we should, as parents even, encourage our youngsters to put their phones away and sit at the dining room table, have dinner. But this has now gone over to our school life. There was a piece of research done in America back in 2014 that said that there was, of the learners that have a mobile device, 65% of them still took it to class even though it was banned. They're still taking it, they're still going to take it. So my view is, well, if they're going to do this, then why not take it on board? Why not take ownership of it? But we have to try and control it. Excuse me a minute. Hey, somebody's phone went off. Good for you. Feel free to get that. So we can ban the phones, but that's not going to work. What we could do is we could keep asking them to put it away. Put your phone away, put your phone away. And you can bet your life that you're going to put your phone away, and you turn around and you go, put your phone away. It's almost like spinning plates. Anybody come across this? Constantly nagging. It becomes a point where it's a point of resistance, and something has to give. So constantly telling them to put the phone away, it wasn't really working for me because it was causing too much conflict. So I looked at alternatives. The first alternative was the clear plastic box. Has anybody tried this technique? So the idea here is that you give the learner a chance. You tell them, put your phone away. Don't be on your phone. And if they continue to do this, you put their phone into a plastic box. If the phone goes off, you can see it and the learner can see it, and then you make an informed choice as to whether they can take it out of the box if it's important enough. Now, the problem there is, what's important enough? If mum's forgotten her keys and she needs to be let in, is that important? We don't know. We really don't know whether that's an important message or not. So, another point of conflict. So, that one was tucked away. The next idea that came my way was to include phone breaks every 20 minutes. Now this, somebody just went, oh, what? This coincided with brain breaks. So we have brain breaks every 20 minutes or so, and so why not, as part of that stopping work, don't we allow them to get their phone out? Well, that seems like a good idea in theory, until they go on to the social media, they put something really good, and then they put their phone away because it's the end of the break, and then somebody replies to that. They've now got 19 minutes and 59 seconds knowing that somebody's replied to their really good status update. So now it becomes another point of conflict, because I don't know about you, but I can't wait 20 minutes. If I know I've got a message there, I can't wait. I need to see it. So that became another point of conflict. So it occurred to me that I really did need to take some sort of ownership of this. That I needed to say, okay, we can do this, but it has to be on my terms. We can discuss this, and I hope we will, but it has to be done on my terms. On the Guardian website, there was this really good thing, and this really does go into Ronaldo's talk later on about bring your own device. So we've seen this whole turnaround. I had a video all lined up where a lecturer had put a stooge in his class, and he was pretending to text. And so the lecturer goes up, takes the phone, gets out a sledgehammer and smashes the phone, and then says, "Now are you going to text in my class?" And this seemed a little bit excessive, although I'm pretty sure it must have worked. But that was in 2010. By 2012, we get things like this turning up in the press about bring your own device, about encouraging people to have their own devices. So already, when we're talking about ownership, although I want to take ownership of the situation, the learners already have this ownership of their device. Their whole personality is on this. I don't know about you, but when I leave my phone at home, and maybe I'm a little bit extreme, but when I leave my phone at home, I feel like a part of me is missing at the moment. Maybe right, maybe wrong. Wrong? Right? It's a bit sad, I suppose, because I'd much rather live my life without those kind of connections, but I have the connections, and I enjoy it somewhat. So there was this whole change in thinking. So I came up with some rules. With my learners, we discussed some rules. And we came up with Phone Club. So we came up with some rules of Phone Club. What's the first rule of Phone Club? That's right, you don't make any clumsy references to films. That wouldn't be good. The second rule of Phone Club is Fight Club, by the way, for those. Anyway. So when Eric talks, you're not. Either digitally or otherwise. If I'm talking, you don't talk. Now, I can put that to my learners to say, I might be giving you important information. I might be telling you something to keep you safe. The bottom line is, I tell my learners, it's bloody manners is what that is. It's got nothing to do with whether you're safe or whether I'm giving you information. It's manners. That's good citizenship. So, if I'm talking, phone's down, you're not looking at them. Time on your device should be kept to a minimum. And it's got a little caveat there, because what is a minimum? It's a tricky one. It depends what we're doing, and towards the end of this, we're going to find out that I use quite a lot of apps. So, what is a minimum? So the way we do this is that I will tell them, you're on your phone a bit there, put your phone away now, come on, put your phone away. And quite often, more often than not, the learner will go, okay, sorry, Eric, thanks very much. Because they know that I'm trying to be fair, that I understand that they want to be on their phone and I'm trying to be fair. So they will be fair with me. This one's a really important one. No images to be taken without permission. So I work in the photography department mainly, as you know. So we're encouraging my learners to take photographs all the time. But in the studio and when we get the cameras out, we have an understanding that we won't publish any photographs without the knowledge of the person whose photograph's been taken. It's this element of trust that we have within the department. But then that seemed to be a distance between taking photographs with a DSLR or a film camera and then the photographs that we were taking with our mobile devices. There had to be a difference between the two. And besides which, if I'm helping out a learner and I'm crouching down by their desk, I don't want my builder's bum to end up on the internet, thanks very much. So, there was a little bit of selfishness behind that. But it was important, especially with things like Snapchat. Very, very popular at the moment, Snapchat. Snap it, send it, all your friends have got it. It's very quick, it's very instant. Love the app myself. I'm a grandfather. You don't look old enough, thanks very much. But I'm a grandfather of 4, and I'm watching my grandchildren grow up on Snapchat. It's absolutely wonderful. I see them, 3 or 4 times a week, but I still see them every day developing with Snapchat. So Snapchat's a really good thing, but it has its place. My next rule was share apps you find and find interesting. So I won't tolerate people coming in and finding a great app and then not sharing it. It's just not the done thing. I want to learn how to use new apps. As I say, I get given to try out some great new phones, and I want to try out the best thing there is for them. Plus, if we have some good apps that are going around in the classroom, then that's beneficial to everyone. No direct messaging, Eric. He will not respond and will block you. You know, that's safeguarding issue, and that's, you know. But that said, I love Twitter. I love Twitter. And so I often get a message from one of my learners, stuck over the park, taking photographs, be back in 10 minutes. Brilliant. What time's lesson? You've got another half an hour. Whatever it may be. What's good about that is that everybody that follows these people also see the message as well. So it gets to a message. If they're having a question, chances are some of their classmates will have the same question. And so it kind of filters its way out. Twitter's a great instant way to keep in contact with learners, but it has to be regulated. Okay, I think there's one missing off this, which is another important one, and that is must have an agreement. No, tell a lie. There is one more. No. So I insist that if they are listening to music, and I allow music to be listened to in my classroom, they've got a choice. They can either listen to 1.FM absolute country hits, my choice, or they can put in some headphones and they can listen to their own choice. It's surprising how many of the young people like country music. But if they're wearing headphones, then they have to agree a way that I can get hold of them, that I can attract their attention. And that may be a tap on the shoulder, that may be waving in front of their face, whatever it may be, as long as they're happy with the way that I'm going to get their attention. Okay. So, the apps I use on a daily basis. So I'm not going to talk too much about these because we've seen majority of them already today. Adobe Capture, I think, is absolutely stunning. If you haven't got it, go and get it because it kind of brings all our favorite mobile apps together. Excuse me. Instagram, like I say, mainly photography. So this is a great way to get my learners out and start taking photographs. Just keep taking photographs, lots and lots of them. You've got a camera in your pocket, take photographs. And then you can go and edit them with Photoshop Fix and Photoshop Mix. Good naming, Adobe. Don't get those ones mixed up very often. Thanks very much. Okay, so Photoshop Fix and Photoshop Mix. They are subject-specific. Some of the ones that I use that are not subject-specific include Adobe Slate. Now, we've already seen Tony already demonstrating it, Adobe Slate. What a great way to get feedback from the learners. You know, they've got these iPads, they've got their, well, you know, this technology in front of them, they've got their laptops, they can do this online. It's a great way for them to give you the information that you require for assessment purposes. Adobe Voice, similar-ish in that they can record their voice. So I do a lot of assessment through presentation, and not every learner would like to stand up and talk in front of a group of people. And to be honest with you, who could blame them? But this allows for them to do this in an app and then show us a bit later on. Nearpod, I'm getting a bit tired of Nearpod, but it does still do its job. This allows me to have a controlling device in my hand and them all to have a device in their hand. Now this can be their own device or it can be one that we've given to them to borrow from the college. But what it is I've uploaded some stuff to Nearpod in PDF form that's interactive and I can get absolute instant feedback from what they're doing. So we can have quizzes, they can write stuff, all that kind of stuff. Edmodo. I'm really interested how many people are using Edmodo? One. Okay. Edmodo is so similar to Facebook, it's crazy. I mean, how they're not being taken to court, I don't know. But the beauty about Edmodo is it's set up for the education purposes. So I can set up, I teach 6 different groups, I think. So I've got 6 groups on Edmodo. And it comes up, it looks like Facebook. They can put pictures in there, they can do links to videos, they can put messages to other people, but nothing is private. It is all public. Public to everybody in the group. I mean, not public outside of that. So the reason why I like this is that I can, and it's happened recently, I had a hospital appointment. It came up very quickly, and so I wasn't there the next day. So what I did was I scheduled a post on Edmodo of a couple of videos. Then, the next day, from the hospital, I walked out, and I went into the waiting room, and I got on my phone, and I said, "How's it going, guys?" Now, I know that we often like separation from our classes, and when we're out, we're out. And, you know, if you've got a hospital appointment, Eric, don't worry about your class. But I do. And so it was nice to go, how's it going? Have you got any pictures to show me? And then these pictures started arriving. And, you know, one of the reasons why we're in teaching is we're proud of these guys. And I was proud of the stuff that was coming out. So Edmodo allows me to be instantly in contact with them. You know, they'll tell me that they're running late and stuff like that. Finally, one that was just given to me just a few days ago by one of my learners in the spirit of if you find a good app, you've got to share it. And this is RefMe. So this will make a Harvard referencing for you on its own database up in the cloud. So you literally just scan the barcode. That's all you do. Put what page number you want, and bish bash bosh, you're starting to bring up your Harvard referencing. And we all like teaching Harvard referencing, don't we? Oh, those learners, they love it. So this makes it nice, quick and easy. Maybe we should still teach them to do it manually? Yeah? We bloody had to, so can you. But this makes it easy once they got the hang of it. So that's my other top tip apps. And of course, I use others all the way around. Of course, all the Adobe apps. We use Premiere, and I love Photoshop. I wouldn't be doing TipSquirrel if I didn't love Photoshop and Lightroom. And look at that, the clock has just ticked over to 0. I can relax now. Is there a bar? So thank you very much for bearing with me. Bless your hearts.